Sure thing.
Welcome to the Villamere Inn. If there's anything I can get you, just let me know.
Need something?
You're that mage from the college, right? Hear things have finally calmed down over there.
Your real name is Sweetie, isn't it?
No, I'm sorry. You must have me mistaken for someone else. I've never even heard that name before.
You have nothing to fear from me.
Please, I beg you, don't tell Sibby where I am. He'll kill me. Sibby's been spreading lies about me. You must hear me out.
Tell me your side of the story about Sibby.
Sibby and I were to be married. We were supposed to be happy together forever. Then I found that wretched poetry from Svana. When I confronted Sibby about it, he threatened to kill me. I was scared, so I told my brother Wolfur. He went to talk to Sibby for me and Sibby killed him. My brother wasn't even armed. When I heard what Sibby did, I fled. And now you've found me, and you're going to tell him where I am. A pleasant journey, milady.
Algrim won't give us a straight answer.
He's a true Nord. He'll come around.
Don't be so sure of that. We've intercepted couriers from Solitude. The Empire's putting a great deal of pressure on Whiterun.
And what would you have me do?
If he's not with us, he's against us.
He knows that. They all know that.
How long are you going to wait?
You think I need to send Bolgraf a stronger message?
If by message you mean shoving a sword through his gullet.
Taking his city and leaving him in disgrace would make a more powerful statement, don't you think?
So we're ready to start this war in earnest then?
Soon.
I still say you should take them all out like you did dead King Torrig.
Torrig was merely a message to the other Jarls. Whoever we replace them with will need the support of our armies.
We're ready when you are.
Things hinge on Whiterun. If we can take the city without bloodshed, all the better. But if not...
The people are behind you.
Many, I fear, still need convincing.
Then let them die with their false kings.
We've been soldiers a long time. We know the price of freedom. But people are still weighing things in their hearts.
What's left of Skyrim to wager?
They have families to think of.
How many of their sons and daughters follow your banner? We are their families.
Well put, friend. Tell me, Galmar, why do you fight for me?
I'd follow you into the depths of oblivion. You know that.
Yes, but why do you fight? If not for me, what then?
I'll die before elves dictate the fates of men. Are we not one in this?
I fight for the men I've held in my arms, dying on foreign soil. I fight for their wives and children whose names I heard whispered in their last breath. I fight for we few who did come home, only to find our country full of strangers wearing familiar faces. I fight for my people, impoverished to pay the debts of an empire too weak to rule them, yet brands them criminals for wanting to rule themselves. I fight so that all the fighting I've already done hasn't been for nothing. I fight because I must.
Your words give voice to what we all feel, Ulfric. And that's why you will be High King. But the day words are enough will be the day when soldiers like us are no longer needed.
I would gladly retire from the world, were such a day to dawn.
Aye, but in the meantime...
Have you heard?
We have a war.
There's been another dragon attack. Kynesgrove this time.
Galmar thinks we should double our men in the Reach.
A reasonable strategy.
And you, Yorli?
Well, sir, the hold at Falkreath is fairly vulnerable, and blocks the only road from Cyrodiil.
A good point, old friend.
To be sure, my lord, I am not skilled in the arts of war or military tactics.
But you're able to see the hole in the pass, and for that I'm grateful.
As you wish, sir. Another quiet day, I hope.
I've heard about these murders.
These are difficult times indeed, when men stalk their brethren like beasts. My men are stretched thin as it is. If you offer your aid, I gladly accept. The guards will be told to assist you as necessary. I'm happy to lend a hand as much as I can as well. Heard what you did? Killing those foul witches. Well done, companion.
I would like to purchase a house in the city.
There is an empty home in the city, but there was some unpleasantness recently. I'm afraid it's not available just yet. Travel safely. It's dangerous out there. Word is the College of Mages is back to normal, if there's such a thing for that lot.
What can you tell me about Windhelm?
Grew up here. Cold as at Mora, but that just grows the beard thicker. Lot of history in these walls. We're trying to make some more. It's a lucky time to be alive.
What do you do for the Jarl?
For Ulfric? Well, nothing official. Known him for years. He seems to value my thoughts, and I'm grateful for that. I don't really have a mind for war, and I think he likes having an untrained opinion from time to time. If you'll excuse me, I must return to my duties.
All right. So we have to look for clues, talk to a fuckload of people, go back and forth, and in the meantime, the guards are not doing a thing. This murderer could strike again. And I'm just worried that something could happen to you. You're not going anywhere unless I'm with you. Have you got it?
Everything all right?
Aye.
My heart goes out to Clan Shattershield. Kin murdered, family warhammer stolen. There's no fairness in all that. Damn faithless Imperials.
Fear not. Come dragon or giant, we'll be ready.
This blood is fresh. Someone's been busy.
Come and browse my fine selection.
Did you know that this was built by... Please come on.
Beware the Butcher by Viola Giordano, the killer who haunts the streets of Windhelm. These calamitous times bring out the worst in people. Don't become the next victim. See Viola Giordano if you spot any suspicious behavior. "17 tendons and assorted ligaments, 173 fragments of bone for assemblage, approximately. 4 buckets full of blood, Nord preferred. 6 spoons of marrow, but no more than 2 from a thigh. 12 yards of flesh, before cutting. Star scrying to the edge of the ice mind. Look to the lights where the souls dance, revealing the time when a spark will revive, when the rotted unites under most skillful hands."
I lost my twin sister a while back. Have you ever lost anyone close?
Horses. All day.
My father says we need to just get on with our lives.
Like
It's that easy.
What the fuck is it now? I was just doing what I do best.
Fools, Roda!
Here we go. Feels good. Much better than you.
Fus, Roda! Fus, Roda!
I have no idea what that is. You're not gonna like how this ends. You want to do this the hard way? Fine. You can go to hell. You fuck right off. Ah, crap. It has a big bloody crack in it. I hope it's still worth something to him at least.
You're not as dumb as you look. Alchemy is simple. Unless, of course, you were simple. Then, I can't help you.
I've brought the file, but it's damaged.
This, it matches every description of the file that I've found in lore. But if it can't hold liquid, there's no way of knowing. How did you manage to damage it, then? This is what I get for not retrieving it myself.
It was like this when I found it.
Figures. I doubt you have sufficient knowledge to harm the file, even if you wanted to. Either way, this is the end of it. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm not quite in the mood to entertain guests. I trust you can show yourself out. Here's for your trouble.
Well, it might not have been the outcome he wanted, but we delivered.
I want to thank you for your help. I know my master can be a bit short at times.
Nurelion only gave me 5 septims.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Even though the file was damaged, I still think your efforts deserve reward. Now, if you'll pardon me, I'm going to tend to Nurelion. I can make his final days a bit less painful. My master can be a bit short-tempered, but I've learned so much from him.
It's so good to see you again. Spare a coin for a poor old woman.
Hail, Summoner. Conjure me up a warm bed, would you?
Ah, it's so nice to be home with the kids. That's just sick and twisted. That is.
Butcher Journal by Calixto Corey, a journal revealing the ghoulish motivation behind killings in Windhelm. The plans are coming together swimmingly. I've found good sources of bone, flesh, and blood, but thus far, a good sampling of sinew and marrow have escaped me. No matter. The city is swollen with contemptuous fools who will be missed by no one. Last night, I was almost able to corner Susanna as she left Candlehearth. Idiot guards showed up at just the wrong moment, and I had to turn about, just out for a stroll, and so forth. There will be other chances, but the time is drawing near. I think back to my time in Winterhold. All the wasted minds up in their towers. They only explore the magic they already know. I am discovering new magic here, something deeper than the cantripped shenanigans of fire and light. This flesh magic is older than us, perhaps older than the world itself. I am tugging at the corners of the fabric of the universe, and where it bunches and folds is where I shall create my greatest triumph. One more attempt at the Candlehearth girl. She's proving to be a bit too cautious, but those strong joints of hers should contain the most exquisite tendons, worth the effort, tonight.
Spare a coin for a poor old woman.
What is it? Dragons?
Honored companion, how can I assist you?
I do the cooking and cleaning around the palace.
You're that mage from the college, right? Hear things have finally calmed down over there.
Do you know what this amulet is?
I've never seen anything like it. I would take this to Calixto at the House of Curiosities. He has a good eye for strange trinkets. Might even give you a bit of gold for it. Travel safely. It's dangerous out there.
Don't need to pay me no mind. I'm the least important person in here.
Fear not. Come dragon or giant, we'll be ready.
I'd be out there fighting the Imperials right now if it wasn't for my war wolf.
Word is the College of Mages is back to normal, if there's such a thing for that lost sleep. I shall wait.
Welcome. Let me know if you want anything. I think I got a clean mug around here somewhere.
Come see me in the marketplace tomorrow. You won't find better prices in all of Eastmarch.
Oh, it's you! I didn't expect to see you again.
Malborn, it's good to see you.
Trying to stay ahead of the Thalmor assassins. I'm not a hero like you. I don't stand a chance.
What are you doing here?
Trying to stay alive. I think time's running out, though. I'm pretty sure the Thalmor know where I am. Maybe you can help me. You know, by way of making amends for getting me into this mess.
You helped me. I'll do what I can to help you.
You will? Really? Well, okay. Here's the situation. I was trying to get to Morrowind. The Dunmer don't care much for the Thalmor, and I figured I'd be safe there. As safe as anywhere, that is. But there's a Khajiit hanging around the main gate. I didn't like the way he was looking at me. I'm sure he's Thalmor, just waiting for me to leave so he can follow me and kill me in a lonely place.
Don't worry. I'll take care of this assassin for you.
You'd be saving my life. Again. I know I probably seemed ungrateful. I've just been so scared. Expecting a knife at my throat any minute. Need something?
Every night, I walk around the Grey Quarter and let them greyskins know what I think of them. We ought to dig a big hole, throw all them dark elves and Argonians in it, and let them tear each other to pieces. Get out of my face.
Someone there?
If you've got some time, stop by my House of Curiosities. I promise you'll see wonders.
Do you know anything about this amulet?
Let me see. Ah, yes. This is the Wheelstone. It's an heirloom symbol of the power of Windhelm. Traditionally, it's carried by the court mage. I would be interested in acquiring it, if you're willing to part with it, that is. For a piece like that, I could pay 500 gold.
I think I'll hold on to it for the time being.
Suit yourself. It's only of value to collectors, though. Good luck finding anyone else who will appraise it that highly.
Be on the lookout. The butcher could be around any corner.
What can you tell me about the butcher?
I've been following him for months now. Well, not actually following. Trying to find him. The guards won't help. The people won't help. I'm the only one who thinks he can be caught.
Why can't the guards help?
They say they're too busy with the war. I say, what good is winning a war if we're still terrorized by one of our own?
I found this journal in the killer's lair.
Huh? What's it say? Woundfirth. There have been rumors swirling about him for years, as long as I can remember. But he's a dangerous man. That's why they call him the Unliving. I wouldn't approach him directly. This information needs to go straight to the steward. He'll listen to you.
The Imperials think we need their laws.
Whatever you've heard I can do is probably true.
I'd like to make an investment in your business.
Excellent. I think you'll be glad that you made this decision.
Let's see what you can do with this.
Thank you. I'll be sure to put it to good use.
I've heard you dabble in necromancy.
I beg your pardon? Necromancy. I am a member of the College of Winterhold, in good standing. They haven't allowed necromancy for hundreds of years. My what now? I've never kept a journal, I can assure you. What exactly did this amulet look like?
8-sided. Jade ringed with ebony, a worn carving.
I know it well. Or at least I've heard of it. I would wager that carving once depicted a skull. That is the necromancer's amulet of legend. It appears you were at least half right. There is necromancy at the heart of this.
guess Calixto was wrong.
Yeah. Calixto and his books are often confused about such matters. It happens to the best of us.
So what can we do now?
I've been noting a pattern to when the killings happen. Now that we know they're tied into some sort of necromantic ritual, I think I know when the next might occur. Let's see. From a Lordus of Last Seed until a Midas of Hearthfire, it will happen soon, very soon. Keep watch in the Stone Quarter tomorrow night. That's almost certainly where the killer will strike next.
Did you know that this was built by Ysgramor himself? Just a hint to what the cities in Admora must have looked like.
Is Ulfric's armor done? It's so good to see you again.
There's no glory in war. It's just something they tell soldiers so they'll risk their lives.
Somebody do something!
Poor bugger. Oi, picking a fight now, eh?
You couldn't possibly be the Dragonborn of legend, could you?
Calixto Corium was the butcher.
Ismir's beard. The man was always a bit odd, but I wouldn't have expected. You've done the city a mighty service, friend. I believe you'll find the guards to be a bit more cordial with you in the future.
I would like to purchase a house in the city.
The house I mentioned earlier is still available, if you want to buy it.
I'll take it.
Wonderful. Here is the key to your new home. Travel safely. It's dangerous out there.
God, I'm glad this is finally solved.
Trouble?
Now the people of Windhelm can finally relax. You look tired.
Let's press on, I'll be okay.
All right. Love you, you know.
There's no glory in war. It's just something they tell soldiers so they'll risk their lives.
A Tale of Kirin, Volume 2. By Vegapithecus, Editor. Nearby, in stately Trowbridge, King Kaladin did live with his lovely daughter, Ainlia. The princess was the apple of the old man's eye, and the crown jewel of his small kingdom. He looked upon her with the blind pride of a doting father, and she, for her part, did naught but bask and flourish in his bounty. Trowbridge was quiet now, the chief sounds being the clatter of cartwheels and the cries of street vendors, but it was not always so. 3 years earlier there had been trouble with Carthan to the west. It was not much, a border dispute, but the king persuaded a wizard named Loziard to come to Trowbridge in his employ to aid him in the contest. Loziard was unknown by all in Trowbridge and kept to himself within the palace, coming and going as he pleased. When Trowbridge prevailed, with almost no loss of life, there was joyous celebration for days and weeks thereafter. Time passed, yet Loziard remained. The king, not wanting to seem ungrateful, said nothing, but became increasingly discomforted with the wizard's presence and wished for his departure. On Ainlia's 20th birthday, King Kaladin called for a celebration and holiday throughout all his land. Unknown to his subjects, he intended to proclaim his retirement and the transference of his crown to his beautiful daughter. Out of politeness, and nothing more, he invited the wizard Loziard to aid him in devising a proper speech. Loziard was furious. He paced his chamber, his black brows knitted with intensity that would have soured any cow's milk. "Why," he cried aloud, "am I treated so unjustly by the old buffoon? Were it not for my skills, the border contest, mayhap even the kingdom itself, might have been lost. I deserve more. I deserve the crown. To give it to that primping, simpering daughter of his who thinks naught of more than her own whim is a slap more stinging than that of a gauntlet. I will have justice. I will demonstrate amply for all to see wherein lies true power." Thereupon, Loziard made his preparations. Princess Ainlia's birthday came on a summer morning. Everyone within the city and from the farms without gathered to the palace for the festival. Banners waved from every rooftop. Fiddlers fiddled and dancers danced. Bakers baked wonderful sweets for the occasion. It was a day long to be remembered. At noon, precisely, King Kaladin and Prince Ainlia emerged from the main balcony to the cheers of the kingdom. "Good citizens of Trowbridge," called the king, "we are but a tiny kingdom, but we prosper, do we not?" Loud hails, mostly, erupted from the crowd below. Encouraged, Kaladin continued. "But now I am an old man. The day has arrived when younger blood can better attend to the needs and events of the kingdom. My subjects, my loyal subjects and friends, it is with honor and pride, and the greatest of expectation, that I transfer my kingdom and my crown to my loving daughter. To one and all I give you," a long pause here, "Ainlia." As cheers filled the air, Kaladin made a grand sweeping gesture with his arm, intending to make the presentation as spectacular as the pride that filled him. His robe went swoosh, and his hand pointed to nobody. What was this? Where had she gone? Where Ainlia had been moments earlier, there now was naught but vacant air. "Ainlia?" he called uncertainly, but there was no response. Silence fell over park and courtyard. People glanced at each other nervously. Old Laziard clapped his hands in glee. He danced. He hugged himself with uncontained laughter. "How wonderful!" he cried. "What a breathtakingly stunning and talented wizard I am!" For what he had done, of course, was to rid himself of Ainlia for once and for all. With one stroke, crafty and evil, he had removed the vain creature from the palace. Naught else remained between him and what he desired. Now, magic is a tricky thing. Like all forces in the world, it must be kept in balance. As surely as day balances night and summer balances winter, so too must positive magic balance negative. For every hurtful or destructive spell, there must be an act of equal goodness or charity, lest trouble overflow into the world. For every black wizard, there must be a white. For every spell of combat destruction, there must be healing. Know ye this: if all who practice magic cast naught but healing or protective spells, dark, horrible forces would build up until chaos and ruin would burst forth and rain our doom down upon us. Thus may spells of healing be broken by harm, and the worst of spells be broken by charity. Knowing this, Laziard planned well his act of vengeance. To permanently rid himself of Ainlia, short of killing her outright, he must devise a spell so cunning that no act of kindness would ever break it. He was pulling lice out of his long beard late one evening when he burst into laughter. He would make her into something disgusting. "I will make her into a frog," he laughed, and then frowned. "No, that's been done. People might expect it and go around like mindless idiots seeking frogs, hoping to earn a king's ransom." And then a brilliant plan occurred to him. "I will make her into a bug, an insect, a worm." He almost choked on his wine. Oh, perfect. I will make her into something so truly loathsome that she will spend the rest of her little bug life in terror of being squashed by the first person who sees her. He squealed, and his rings jangled, and his fat jiggled, and he snorted wine out of his nose in laughter. Oh, how absolutely delicious. And that's exactly what he did. While King Kaladin and his subjects scratched their heads in puzzlement, nobody saw a small, fat, white tree grub plop to the cobblestones beneath the main balcony and immediately curl up, glistening and quivering. The Tale of Kirin, Volume 3, by Vegapithecus, editor. Ainlia was terrified. What had happened? Well, she'd seen enough of Laziard's magic to know what had happened, but why? Why would he do this to her? She didn't have long to ponder the question. A huge black hound, hundreds of times her size, ran to the cobblestone where she lay and almost gobbled her with one slurp of his tongue. From somewhere she found the wherewithal to roll out of its way and into the crevice between the stones. His huge slurpy tongue followed her, drooling and panting great hurricanes of hot, awful breath down at her. But just as the tongue was about to lick her into his waiting stomach, the hound's owner yanked his massive chain and pulled the beast toward home. It is true that Ainlia in her life as a human was self-indulgent and not inclined to effort or resource, but that was merely because she'd had no need of either. In the following days she had cause to discover plenty of both within her. After the incident with the hound, she knew she must get far from people and dogs. And she knew what kinds of creatures dined on grubs, too. She slept out of sight under leaves, in places where grubs would not likely be sought. Even so, Einlia's days were filled with terror and adventure. There were circling hawks by day and owls by night. A bear tearing at a rotten tree trunk gobbled grubs indistinguishable from Einlia by the hundreds as she watched in horror from beneath a nearby rock. The smallest stream was now an enormous gushing torrent to be crossed in a nutshell under the greatest of peril. Einlia passed these tests along with many others, and she passed them well. It was on her 10th such day that a clumsy boot kicked aside the piece of bark under which she had sought shelter from the sun. Blinded by the sudden light, she heard an exclamation from high above. Then, before she could react, 2 fingers dropped from the sky and plucked her up and deposited her firmly inside a huge fist. 10 days ago, Einlia would have been paralyzed with terror, but that was 10 days ago. Her mind raced. Who is this clumsy idiot, anyway, she thought, and what on earth does he want with a tree grub? At least he didn't squash me on the spot. That's encouraging, isn't it? So he must be here to rescue me. She wriggled and squirmed in his fist until she could see his face, high above her, between 2 of his fingers. Ugh, a beard. If I'm going to be rescued, why can't it be by a fine young prince? But it then occurred to her that she was speaking from old habit. I wonder how many of these foppish boys could have survived these past 10 days, she laughed, thinking of them. Not many, I bet. Those who wouldn't have curled up and died immediately would, by now, be whimpering and crying for their mothers. She looked at Kieran again. Well, maybe he would look better if I wasn't looking straight up his nostrils. Ouch! Why isn't he more careful with me? And then it occurred to Einlia that if this oaf were truly rescuing her, he probably would have said something to her. Einlia's heart raced, and she started wriggling furiously, imagining the worst of all possible deaths. He must be going fishing. Einlia couldn't do much in her current state, but she could spit, and spit she did, in quantities unimaginable for so small a grub. She spit and spit and spit until her tiny grub mouth was too dry to spit another drop. She felt Kieran's hand squirming and thought, it's working. Adonato's Book, Olaf and the Dragon by Adonato Liatelli. One of the more colorful legends in Nord folklore is the tale of Olaf, One-Eye, and Numinex. Long ago in the First Age, a fearsome dragon named Numinex ravaged the whole of Skyrim. The dreadful drake wiped out entire villages, burned cities, and killed countless Nords. It seemed that no power in Tamriel could stop the monster. This was a troubled time in Skyrim's history, for a bitter war of succession raged between the holds. The Jarls might have been able to conquer the beast if they had worked together, but trust was in desperately short supply. A skillful warrior named Olaf came forward and promised to defeat the beast. In some accounts, he is the Jarl of Whiterun. In other versions of the legend, Olaf promises the people of Whiterun that he will capture the monster if they will name him Jarl. At any rate, Olaf ventures forth with a handful of his most trusted warriors and seeks the beast out, eventually finding Numinex in his lair atop Mount Anthor. Needless to say, it's an epic battle. First, Olaf comes at the dragon with his axe and his shield. Some variants of the legend say that Olaf and the beast battled with blade and claw for days, but were too evenly matched for either to gain an advantage. Most accounts hold that Olaf, perhaps frustrated that his weapons were completely ineffectual against the dragon, finally cast them aside. Giving voice to the rage that had been building up within him, Olaf unleashed a terrible shout. Here again, the stories diverge. Many accounts hold that Olaf did not realize he possessed the power of dragon speech, while others suggest that he'd long possessed this gift, but wished to test himself against the dragon in martial combat first. Virtually all variations of the legend, however, agree on what happened next. Using the awesome powers of the dragon language, Numinex and Olaf engage in an epic shouting duel atop Mount Anthor. So forceful are their words, they are said to shatter the stone and split the sky. Finally, Numinex collapsed from a combination of injury and sheer exhaustion. Somehow, and this detail is completely absent in virtually every account, Olaf manages to convey the dragon all the way back to the capital city of Whiterun. The people of Whiterun are suitably impressed with Olaf's hostage. They build a huge stone holding cell at the rear of the palace, which they rename Dragon's Reach. This enormous cell serves as Numinex's prison until his death. Olaf himself eventually becomes the High King of Skyrim, putting an end to the War of Succession. Presumably, his great deed made him the only leader upon whom all the people could agree, and so the land once again had peace. As a visitor to Skyrim, I find this tale both fascinating and highly entertaining. It is one of the most celebrated legends of the Nords, and one can easily understand why. It's a story of surpassing heroism, in which a resourceful and worthy Nord does battle with a truly terrifying adversary, and emerges victorious by yelling him into submission. The only way in which this could have been an even more Nordic tale could be if Olaf beat Numenex in a drinking contest. The legend is not without its doubters, however. The bard Svafnir, who lived during Olaf's reign, wrote and performed an alliterative verse that challenged Olaf's version of events. Enraged, the High King threw the rebellious bard in prison and destroyed all written copies of the verse. How I would love to lay hands on a copy of that verse. I admit I am immensely curious to know what assertions Svafnir made about how Olaf really defeated Numenex. There are a few ancient bard texts that provide one possible answer. These tomes suggest that Numenex was particularly foul-tempered because he was extremely old. In these accounts, the dragon spends his final years terrorizing the countryside before flying off to the top of Mount Anthor to die in peace. When Olaf finds Numenex, the dragon is too weak to defend himself. Olaf and his men capture the beast without effort, but decide to take advantage of the situation by fabricating a heroic tale. It is worth noting that all of Olaf's warriors, who were said to witness the shout duel, went on to become wealthy leaders during Olaf's reign as High King. However, it is equally likely that Svafnir had some grudge against Olaf, and his scandalous verse was an attempt to damage the High King's reputation. Alas, we will never know. I leave you now, good reader, with this gentle reminder. A good historian must remain impartial and consider all points of view. Time is a way of distorting our record of events, so the closer you can get to the original sources, the better.
Experimentation in the Physicalities of the Werewolf by Raymond Krax. A morbid anatomical study of werewolves on live subjects. Far too many books such as this one begin with some sort of justification. Some reason for study is concocted in the hopes that the writer's obsession will be seen in a more noble light. I make no such pretensions. No werewolf killed my family. None ever threatened me personally, nor even an acquaintance of mine. My obsession is born out of simple curiosity, with a strong dose of hatred for the unnatural. Is it possible to hate something without having been done harm by it? I am no philosopher, and thus here ends my introduction. On with my studies. I have endeavored, over the course of several decades, to perform a complete study of the physical nature of the creatures we call werewolves. I overlook entirely the origins of this plague, whether it is acquired voluntarily or inflicted, and how one might be cured. Such matters are filled with too much guesswork and rambling, second-hand inanities from farmhands. Subject A. Captured in Morrowind while in beast form. Makeup: male, Breton in his true form. Notes: subject shows an unusually high degree of control over his transformations. Experiment 1. Subject's bodily proportions were thoroughly measured before, during, and after the transformation. As expected, the proportions were identical while in true form, but some minor swelling of the head was observed immediately after the return. Changes observed during the transformation: 23% increase in shoulder width, 17% narrowing of hips, 47% lengthening of arms, 7% increase in finger length, not accounting for claws. As for the legs, the lengthening of the foot to several times its normal length seems to account for the otherwise negligible changes in the thigh region. Experiment 2. Subject was coerced into changing as rapidly and as frequently as possible, at various times and at various levels of duress. Transformation time and effects were not viewed to change notably. Subject expired. Concluding tests. Subject B. Captured in Cyrodiil, already imprisoned by local authorities, in true form. Makeup: female, Nord in her true form. Notes: subject's large size, in both true and transformed forms, makes an excellent fit for vivisection. I believe I may have been the first to witness a werewolf transformation ply its effects on the internal workings of a creature. The heart is the first thing to swell, long before the lungs or bones shift to accommodate it. This may account for the intense chest pains that some of the afflicted report directly before their changes.
More interesting were the changes observed in the muscles of the legs. I had expected a strengthening, as the beasts are known for their great power and speed, but they also seemed to change color into a dusky brown. This could also be attributed to blood loss from the procedures. Before the subject expired, I worked applying some known remedies for the disease directly to internal organs. Wolfsbane petals applied to the bones seemed to render them brittle, and the ribcage nearly collapsed at the touch. The juice of ripened belladonna berries was pressed directly into the veins, and they could be seen to shrivel behind the flow as it moved through the system. Upon reaching the heart, the major vessels pulled away completely, and subject expired within minutes.
Felixane, Pirate King of the Abyssinian, an ode to the Pirate King. Poke out your eyes, lad, pour lead in your ears. Those sails portend madness, dark horror and fear. Abandon your lasses, your ship and your gold. Blood on the water, Valak this way comes. A noose from the rigging, a plank from the boards. Do yourself in, don't try crossing swords. Mercy's not a shipmate among that heartless horde. Blood on the water, the Pirate King comes. Stout empire galleon or swift elven skiff, they every one splinter and just as soon sink. But only after crew and captain have fun. Blood on the water, for your days are done. He'll tear your guts and he'll eat your heart raw. His eyes gleam red, his heart will never thaw. Mark well these words, you quaking new babes. Blood on the water follows Captain Felixane.
Ah, it's so nice to be home with kids.
Aye, changeling? Moving on.
Hear my prayers.
I own Hollyfrost Farm outside the city. It's honest work, if a bit dull.
Delvin Mallory said you had a job for me.
My daughter Fiotli. She was murdered a few months ago. Left her laying on the ground in a pool of her own blood. I assumed they were after her valuables. She always wore far too much jewelry in public. When I told her it'd be the death of her, I never thought.
I assure you it wasn't anyone from the guild.
No need to explain. I'm well aware of your guild's methods. Took me weeks, but I finally tracked down the killer. A bloody Altmer at that. Can you imagine?
What happened to him?
Let's just say I'm a firm believer in an eye for an eye and leave it at that. He fancied himself a thief in some sort of new guild forming around here. Gave me some valuable information before, well, you know.
What exactly do you need me to do then?
Well, like I told Delvin, I think we can help each other. You recover what I'm looking for, and take out a rival guild in the process.
It's something they took from Fiotli, I assume.
Exactly. One of the pieces stolen from her was a silver locket. A Cruel Sea family heirloom. I want it back.
Deal. Where do I begin?
The only name I have is Naranya. Has a house right here in Windhelm. That's where you should begin looking. I should have been an adventurer like you instead of a farmer.
And grant peace.
Have you been learning
Hail,
your own?
companion.
I think I've got a handle on it, but Orichalcum is confusing.
Don't even bother with that one. Leave it to the orcs.
My father says we need to just get on with our lives. I think it's that easy.
Exactly.
Yes, can I help you with something?
I'm here about Fiotli.
Fiotli. Fiotli. Where have I heard that name? Oh, of course, the poor girl who was murdered. Such a beautiful young thing. A tragedy, to be certain.
Drop the act. I know you're involved in her death.
How dare you! You're accusing me of taking part in such a heinous act? I should have you arrested for even suggesting such a thing.
You might be a decent thief, but you're an awful actor.
Now, just a moment. Let's think about this, discuss it like two rational people.
I'm listening.
Look, I had no choice. They're crazy. I could be killed.
Who's crazy?
It's a guild of Altmer thieves. They call themselves the Somerset Shadows. Their leader, Linway, he's the worst of the lot. He steals valuables from the dead.
You mean he murders his marks?
No, Linway prefers stealing from the deceased. Digs up the corpses, breaks into the Hall of the Dead. He even stole that locket right off that poor murdered girl's body. Or what was left of it.
Oh.
How'd you get involved?
What happened?
I used to fence for the Thieves Guild in Skyrim a long time ago. When Linway moved into the area, he contacted me and said if I didn't fence for them, he'd kill me.
Tell me where Linway's hiding.
If I tell you, you need to promise not to kill me. I'd prove to be quite an asset to the Thieves Guild. I'm one of the best fencers in Skyrim.
I'm not going to kill you. That's not our way.
Linway is holed up in a place called Uttering Hills Cave. He's got his entire guild there, so be careful. After you're done with all this, come back anytime and I'll make good on my end of the bargain.
What happened to Fiotli?
I don't know. Rumor has it she was murdered, butchered by a madman. I really try and stay out of such things. Torsten might think Linway or myself are responsible for Fiotli's death, but I can assure you nothing could be further from the truth. I'm sorry I misled you. Return when this is over and we'll talk about my involvement in the Thieves Guild.
up. Wait, this is a surprise. Ah! Bastard!
traitor! Huh?
I'll see you in pieces.
Fall to my blade! It feels like half of Skyrim has become outlaws. By Zenithar, get a trade.
The cruel seas have been sailors for generations. In truth, I regret not following in the footsteps of my ancestors.
I have Fjótli's locket.
It pains me to see this locket. To be reminded of Fjótli once more, but I'm glad it's back where it belongs. Tell Delvin that if he still desires to have my support for the Thieves Guild in Windhelm, he's got it. I should have been an adventurer like you instead of a farmer.
My money's on the big one.
Fresh meats and produce. Get them before they're gone.
Protect yourself right. Buy armor
Gems,
from Relda.
potions, exotic ingredients. I have them all.
I like the Rift better than anywhere in Skyrim. The cold forests and the broken mountains. It always felt familiar somehow.
I'm getting out of here.
What could it mean? The return of the Dragonborn? And who among us could possibly hold that honor? And such power?
Your end draws near. You dare challenge me? You're no match for me. Mercy!
No more! I yield! I yield!
Your end draws near.
Damn you!
I'm getting out of here.
Challenge me?
Make it quick.
The bloody hell is going on here?
This is Mercer Frey's place, and he don't like visitors. Now go away.
I need to get inside Mercer's house.
No visitors. No way. Now piss off before you make me mad.
Let me in or I'll kill you.
That's funny. You think you can take me on? Try it any time. I've been itching for a fight.
Mercer needs you in Markarth right away.
But I can't leave here. I'm supposed to watch his house. What do I do?
I'll watch it for you.
Wow. Sure is nice of you. Here, hang on to the key and don't let anyone in.
I should have guessed those shadow marks belong to the Thieves Guild. We should visit each place and see what they have to offer.
You're smart, she says. Like I'm supposed to figure out which college he meant.
Greed is a powerful motivator, especially for people like Mercer Frey.
Wizards? Now that's power. Bet they got that secret magic. Can turn wood to gold, yeah. Wish I could turn wood to gold. Ooh. Retire someday. Give myself an eye.
Never enough gold. Just need one good haul.
Lying little harlot. That brat ain't mine. Could be
Never do
anyone's.
another span in
Won't
that
get one.
Must be septic.
From me.
Some skooma. Pockets and stuff. That's the real art. No rough stuff. Just take it and go. Don't sound like much fun, though. Should have known she was lying. She said she'd wait for me. But they never wait.
I'm gonna start keeping a knife in my boot. Time to get disarmed.
We've scoured the town and I've spoken to every contact we have left. No sign of Mercer. Any luck on your end?
He wasn't there, but I found these plans.
Shore's beard. He's going after the eyes of the Falmer? That was Gallus's pet project. If he gets his hands on them, you can be certain he'll be gone for good and set up for life.
Then we have to stop him.
Agreed. He's taken everything the Guild has left, and to go after one of the last greatest heists is just an insult. I've spoken to Carlia and made amends for how the guilds treated her. Now she wishes to speak with both of us. Quickly, we have no time to lose. Until next we meet, lass.
Do anything for you? Or more than for you?
Vipper, the fleet.
I promise you, all your questions will be answered. You just have to trust me.
Come here a second.
No, but I know that you're going to turn up missing if you keep up this kind of talk.
I promise you, all your questions will be answered. Brynjolf, the time has come to decide Mercer's fate. Until a new guildmaster is chosen, the decision falls to you.
Aye, lass. And I've come to a decision. Mercer Frey tried to kill both of you. He betrayed the guild, murdered Gallus, and made us question our future. He needs to die.
All right. I have everything you asked for all ready to go.
Mercer
I hope
is a
this deal
nightingale,
goes through.
an agent
Putting
of
quite a bit of
nocturnal.
coin on the line.
And it's all true. Everything I heard in the stories. The Nightingales, their allegiance to Nocturnal, and the Twilight Sepulchre.
You just better hope this one isn't another
That's why
waste
we
of my
need to prepare
coin.
ourselves and meet Mercer on equal footing. Just outside of Riften, beyond the southeast gate, is a small path cut up the mountainside. At the end of that path is a clearing and an old standing stone. I'd ask you both to meet me there.
Good to see you again, friend.
Still have quite a good bit of jobs available, if you're looking for some extra coin. Looking for work.
I finished that special Windhelm job.
Torsten was gratified the death of his daughter was avenged, and the heirloom was returned. At this very moment, he's laying the groundwork for the guild to re-establish itself in Windhelm. Burning that banner was a nice touch too. Should send a clear message to the Somerset Shadows that we're a force to be reckoned with. Success means the guild is getting stronger. We've picked up another merchant and a new recruit. Being a thief is like a second skin for you, ain't it? Never seen anything like it. If you don't watch out, you might even earn Vex's respect. Now that'd be something, eh?
Threw it in the lake, like you said. Tell me you looked
Found this bust of the Grey Fox. Worth anything?
Well. I was looking for this little beauty. If you happen across any other unusual trinkets like this, be sure to bring them to me. I promise it'll be worth the effort. Must have come from Mercer's place. He'd admired the Grey Fox for some time. Sure, I'll buy it from you. Here you are.
I heard you're offering extra work.
I handle the fishing, numbers and bedlam jobs. The ones with a more personal touch. If break-ins are more your thing, go talk to Vex.
Do you have any numbers jobs?
Got a personal request from Brynjolf on this numbers job. He says we may hit 'em hard later, and he wants to prep their books. Help us out.
I'll do it.
Here's everything you need. You get caught, and we've never heard of you.
I have work if you've got the backbone.
frills to trap you.
Have you noticed? The windmill doesn't act. Mill anything.
You're new here, right? Welcome to the Bard's College. It's like a musical museum.
They found it. They actually found it. Ah, yes. Adonato's new work. Shorter than I expected, but words must be judged on merit, not length. I'll look over this later. Why don't you take this for your trouble?
What did they find?
Riorn's drum. Nobody knows where he died, and therefore where his drum might be. Haldir was the missing link. Riorn entered Haldir's cairn in secret and presumably died there. Now all I need to do is find someone to get it. Wait, you. You could do it. I need you to get me that drum.
Who's Riorn and why do you want his drum?
You're joking, right? Riorn, only the most famous battle drummer of the Second Age? Well, famous among bards at least. That drum has been in half a dozen famous battles. It's a priceless artifact. Riorn was always looking for new stories to tell. It seems he was writing a lay about Haldir when he vanished. That was the missing clue. I suppose I should return to my papers.
It seems like every idiot at the college have lost their fucking instruments. So, let's go fetch the drum. I hope it's not another cave full of Draugr.
Damn fool. I should wring her neck. Lorena. That fool student of mine stole my flute and sold it to some necromancer. I just got a ransom note for it. That flute has been handed down for 17 generations. Well, don't just stand there. Go get my flute!
Why would a necromancer want your flute?
Apparently, Lorena told him some story about the flute being able to make the dead dance. It's just a flute. A really old and valuable flute, but just a flute.
I recovered your flute.
That's it! Wonderful! I knew I could count on you. I don't have any money to give you, but I can show you a few tricks I learned playing for the Winterhold Wizards. Now you can say you've met the most talented bard in all of Skyrim.
You're new here, right? Welcome to the Bard's College. It's like a musical museum.
I've been meaning to sit and read a book or two from the library. A lot of wonderful tales to be had.
Youngest bard at the Bard's College, at your service.
Good day.
What do you do?
I'm a troubadour. I travel the world in search of grand tales to retell in sonnet and song.
So you're a bard?
Indeed I am, but the term bard seems so pedestrian by my way of thinking. There's just a bit more flair to the title of troubadour. Don't you agree? Stupid twats.
Some of my kind would say learn my...
What
can I do for you?
What's Morrowind like, anyways? I've never actually been.
Well, currently it's a giant ashen wasteland, largely, and the areas to the south that were less affected were ravaged by war when the Argonians invaded.
What about before the Red Year?
Well, much of the same, honestly, but with more political strife and less Argonians. I was pretty young at the time, and I honestly don't remember a lot of the details. My family fled for Solstheim to avoid the onslaught.
You must despise the Argonians, then.
Nope, not really. We had it coming.
Many thanks, by R. A dubious thank you to Mercer Frey for stealing an item. M. Not certain how you managed to get your hands on that item we discussed, but I'm more than pleased. I thought you'd simply wait until it was being transported from Castle Dower to its final destination, but according to what I've heard, it vanished right from their armoury. I wish I knew how you were able to slip by the guards, bypass the portcullis, unlock the armoury door and break into that dwarven puzzle-locked chest. You need to teach me that little trick sometime. I've left your cut in the usual drop spot, and I might have another job for you soon. R.
To the Owner, by Kilthinius Dandaril. Information on special installments into Riftweald Manor. To the owner of Riftweald Manor, I'm not accustomed to working under these conditions of secrecy, but your generous compensation for the inconvenience was more than adequate to complete the project. Both the balcony ramp and the floor mechanism were interesting projects, and I hope you'll find them functioning to your surprisingly specific specifications. If you should have any further need for my talents, please call on me again. Kilthinius Dandaril.
A Tale of Kieran, Volume 4, by Vegapithecus, editor. Kieran was fair disgusted. 'Twas bad enough that he had to touch the slimy thing, but now it was oozing something, becoming truly revolting. Finally, just before he reached the Robin's Oak, he could take it no longer. He stopped and examined the creature in his hand. White and plump and glistening, it was, in truth, a repellent creature. Yet the poor thing was obviously terrified. It gazed up at him with what he imagined to be minuscule grub eyes, pleading. Kieran thought of the caterpillar and the earthworm, and his heart gave in. Heaving a great resigned sigh, he found a nice clean root and placed the grub upon it. And thus was Loziard's spell broken. None could have been more astonished than Ainlia when she unexpectedly grew to her former size, except, perhaps, for Kieran, who nearly died of fright. He was no more than catching his breath when Ainlia regained her wits, raising her index finger, warning Kieran not to say even one word. Ainlia snatched Kieran's coat to cover herself. Then, with fire in her eyes and as much dignity as she could muster, she was off to Trowbridge, leaving Kieran to stare open-mouthed at her departing figure. Ainlia knew she could not simply enter the city and confront Loziard. The moment he saw her, he would but cast another enchantment upon her. So, disguising herself as a shepherd, she found an abandoned house on the moors and began to make her plans. What happened next is a tale worth hearing, but it is a tale for another evening. Indeed, it is a tale to be told over many an evening and many a good pot of ale. And what of the baby robins? Having no alternative, Kieran climbed the tree and took from his pack his last piece of fatty mutton. Tearing it into small shreds, he gave it to the grateful mother, Robin, who fed it to her family. Upon returning to the ground, Kieran looked first toward Fairtree, his former destination, then, grinning, set off after the most surprising young lady, for whom he now had many questions. Who knows, he called back to the robins, it may be fate. And besides, I need my coat. He was heard, late that evening, far down the road, singing, "Oh, the maidens of Trowbridge are passing fair, with breasts like melons and flaxen hair." 36 Lessons of Vivek, Sermon 17. I am an atlas of smoke. With this, Vivek became greater than he had been. These were the days of Resdania, when Chimer and Dwemer lived under the wise and benevolent rule of the Almsivi and their champion, the Hortator. Seek me without effort, for I take many shapes. The Hortator was still trying to subdue the heavens with an axe. He was thrown out of the library of the sun by the power of Magnus. Vivek found him in a grub field outside the swamps of the Dishan plain. They walked for a span in silence, for Nerevar had been humbled, and Vivek still had mercy in his hand. Soon they were walking across the eastern sea to the land of snakes and snow demons. Vivek wanted to show the Hortator the fighting styles of foreign tongues. They learned the idiom stroke from the pillow book of the Tsaichi king. It is shaped like the insight of this page. The Tsaichi serpents vowed to have their vengeance on the west at least 3 times. They walked farther, and saw the spiked waters at the edge of the map. Here the spirit of limitation gifted them with a spoke and bade them find the rest of the wheel. The Hortator said, "The edge of the world is made of swords." Vivek corrected him. "They are the bottom row of the world's teeth." They walked to the north of the elder wood and found nothing but frozen, bearded kings. They came to the west where the black men dwelt. For a year they studied under the sword saints, and then for another, Vivek taught them the virtue of the little reward. Vivek chose a king for a wife, and made another race of monsters which ended up destroying the west completely. To a warrior chief, Vivek said, "We must not act and speak as if asleep." Nerevar wondered if there was anything to learn in the south, but Vivek remained silent and only led them back to Red Mountain. "Here," Vivek said, "is the last of the last. Within it, the Sharmat waits." But they both knew that the time was not ready to contest the Sharmat, and so they engaged in combat with each other. Vivek marked the Hortator in this way for all of the Valathi to see. He sealed the wound with the blessing of Ayamazura. At the end of the battle, the Hortator found that he had gathered 7 more spokes. He attempted to attach them and form a staff, but Vivek would not let him, saying, "It is not time for that." Nerevar said, "Where did I find these?" Vivek said that they had collected them from around the world, though some had come invisibly. "I am the wheel," he said, and took that shape. Before the emptiness at the center could live too long, Nerevar put in the spokes. The ending of the words is Almsivi. Letter from Kaiden, 25 mid-year 201. There ya. Keep seeing you use these to open chests, so I picked some up for you. I'm happy to just smash the lock open next time, though. Seems quicker and more effective. Kai.
Mace Etiquette, a warrior's instruction pamphlet on proper mace tactics.
Warriors sometimes make the mistake of thinking that there are no tactics with a mace. They assume that the sword is all about skill, and the mace is only about strength and stamina. As a veteran instructor of mace tactics, I can tell you they are wrong. Wielding a mace properly is all about timing and momentum. Once the swing of the mace has begun, stopping it or slowing it down is difficult. The fighter is committed to not just the blow, but also the recoil. Begin your strike when the opponent is leaning forward, hopefully off balance. It is completely predictable that he will lean backward, so aim for a point behind his head. By the time the mace gets there, his head will be in its path. The mace should be held at the ready, shoulder high. The wind-up should not extend past the shoulder by more than a hand's width. When swinging, lead with the elbow. As the elbow passes the height of your collarbone, extend the forearm like a whip. The extra momentum will drive the mace faster and harder, causing far more damage. At the moment of impact, let the wrist loosen. The mace will bounce and hurt a stiff wrist. Allow the recoil of the blow to drive the mace back into the ready position, thereby preparing the warrior for a quicker second strike.
On Stepping Lightly by Sigillus Eustace. A warning on what to expect in the ruins of Skyrim. Dotting the landscape of Skyrim, the ancient Nordic ruins are a testament to the ingenuity of the Nordic people of the past. When constructing the final resting places of their noble class, these supposedly barbaric people proved quite the opposite, developing some of the most sophisticated and clever defenses ever encountered. Coupled with the presence of the fearsome Draugr, these tombs have become quite a challenge for the would-be treasure hunter. The most often overlooked obstacles are the abundance of traps spread throughout the tombs. Ranging from simple tripwire-activated rock falls to complex pressure plate-triggered dart traps, the Nords utilize these devices abundantly. Most of the traps can be avoided by simply looking for the trigger mechanism and avoiding them. Since they are most often placed in areas where distractions abound, remember to keep your eyes to the floor. One of the keys to survival in a Nordic ruin is through the clever use of these traps to gain an upper hand against its denizens. In many cases, it's trivial to lure them across the triggering mechanism in hopes that they'll fall victim to the trap's effect. This advantage can come heavily into play when encountering an oil trap. Using a ranged attack, lure your victim onto the oil, and then loose an arrow at the firepot hanging above. The moment the firepot shatters, the entire pool of oil will ignite and engulf the enemy. Just be certain that you're standing clear of the oil yourself, or else this trick could end your expedition in an untimely manner. Perhaps one of the most amazing engineering marvels of all to be found in the ruins has little to do with the traps designed to kill. Utilizing all manner of pull chains, levers, switches, and pressure plates, some of the most frustrating obstacles can occur in the form of puzzles that could threaten to block your progress. Watch for the telltale signs of these barriers: groups of levers in a single place, rotating pillars with carvings on all faces, and even large arrays of pressure plates covering the floor of a room. In most cases, the puzzles might take experimentation. In others, the solution could actually be present elsewhere in the complex. It's recommended to keep a writing implement and a journal handy in the latter case. Although Nordic ruins are commonly infested with vermin such as skeever and spiders, these creatures pale in comparison to the mighty Draugr. These horrific, animated dead beings are commonly found as guardians in most of the tombs, and will defend them mercilessly. Since the Draugr tend to lay dormant until someone happens upon their resting place, it's advisable to keep an eye on any niches or sarcophagi that you encounter. These undead beings animate rather rapidly and silently, so always watch your back. Any remains you may have passed could suddenly animate and set upon you without warning. The perils of the Nordic ruin are not without reward. The burial chambers in some of the larger complexes have been known to contain all manner of riches, from gold coins to even the occasional enchanted weapon or armor. Never dismiss the small ceremonial urns that dot the ruins. They are commonly filled with ancient offerings of great value. There are rumors that most, if not all, of these ruins contain large walls with magical inscriptions upon them, but these have yet to be confirmed. While this might seem like a comprehensive guide to the ruins, there are certain to be dangers lurking within that remain undiscovered. Just be sure to always enter these tombs with plenty of equipment and a good, solid weapon by your side. With a bit of patience, a keen eye, and a light step, The Nordic ruin can bring you great wealth. Do without these simple safety measures, and you risk becoming a permanent resident, like many before you.
Proper lock design and construction by unknown. I've encountered many thieves whose sole interest in locks is how to open them and thereby pilfer the protected contents of the room or chest. I've taken it upon myself to devise a system of locks that can defeat such villainous intent. The materials used to create a lock are of utmost importance. Shoddy brass or copper will give way to a well-placed kick, thereby rendering the lock itself useless. I recommend steel over iron when choosing a material. More robust materials tend to be prohibitively expensive and necessitate the door being made of similar metals. I have been chagrined to stumble across the shattered shell of a wooden chest, its dwarven lock intact and still locked. Once these basics are settled, pay particular attention to the offset of the tumblers. A 7-degree offset to the keyhole will allow a torque-style key to work smoothly, while at the same time causing numerous headaches for the thief attempting to insert non-torque lockpicks. In similar fashion, the springs of the tumblers should be made by different smiths. Each smith will unknowingly create a spring with different tension than his fellow smiths. This variance will also cause great difficulties for anyone attempting to pick the lock.